That was the noise, you tit.
I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
So professional.
Seamless. Afternoon, everybody. We are professionals. Don't ever hear anything different. We're the best in the business. That's a lot. Right. It's Arsenal Day. Thank God for that. The international break is over, and how it's over. Delightful. 4-1. Beautiful. Wall pushers on their way home with nothing. That's what we like to see. Right. Let's get some introductions going. As you can probably see, I'm me. Afternoon. I'm joined by Danny. Say hello, Danny.
All right, I'm eating chocolate.
For fuck's sake.
On my second Easter egg of the day. Nom, 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 nom.
Good grief. As I said before, always professional us.
Yeah.
I'm also joined by Tim in South Africa. Hello, Tim.
Good afternoon.
Are you well, my good man?
Oh yeah, very well, thank you, Chris. How are you?
Oh, I'm bristling. Bristling, that's the word I'm going to use. Speaking of bristles, there's a man stroking his as we speak. Afternoon, John.
Afternoon, Chris.
You're all good, I presume, mate?
Yeah, no, I am happy, but I'm also kind of annoyed because I've played FIFA last night, I was playing Ultimate Team, used my Arsenal side in the league campaign, come up against Liverpool. I thought, whatever the score is, I'll put a bet on it. What happens? I beat Liverpool last night 4-1 and Ozil scored. I was going to put a bet on it, completely forgot. Oh, the odds I could have got on that. Absolutely
that is
ridiculous.
gutting. Actually, a beautiful, beautiful reminder that I should bring up. Our very own OG, Danny, you can confirm this. What was his score prediction last night?
I don't know.
It was 4-1.
It was 4-1.
Look through the group and see who said what.
So well done, OG. I don't think anyone pulled Bella in first scorer. I think on the pod I went with Koscielny. That was closest you could get. But yeah, so there we go.
Just so people can see.
Boichi did score actually in my Ultimate Team.
I can see this. No. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, you saw it there. Oh, I've put my fat feet on the fuck it. It says 4-1.
Yeah, it says 4-1. You just have to trust us on that.
The other ones we had, I said 3-0. Jace said 2-0. Fife said 2-1. Raj 3-1. Kate 3-1. You 2-1. And Dom is pissed. He said 1-1 of Spina. He seriously did.
Dom is having a lovely time doing what he's
three
doing at the
sheets
moment.
to the wind and not giving a fuck.
He's having a lovely time with lovely bridesmaids with boobies. Anywho, right. Let's get into stuff then, because we're on a time limit today, because for once I've got stuff to do, which is rare, because I don't have a life.
See boys.
Gotta go see boys. Right, Danny, as soon as you popped up first, let's get some initial thoughts from you. You watched it, I know, from the comfort of your pitch with some cereal. What did you think of today?
Yes, I thought the sugar puffs were lovely. The cherry Activia yogurt poured on the game.
Yes.
All right. I said we were going to win 3-0. I knew Ozil was due a performance. Sanchez was due a performance. But the way that Bellerin scored that first goal, that was the kind of thing. That was Ian Wright-esque. The way he ran with it down there, got past about two players, curled it around, 2 or 3 players and the goalkeeper.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that was the thing of beauty. We were just saying on the pod this week that Bellerin is too good to be a right back. He's got too much flair. He's too quick. He's got so much to his game. And I think it was you saying he's brilliant at his crosses as well.
Yep. As is, well, I said about Jenkinson about the comparison, but yeah.
Yeah, so absolutely stunning. And then I was thinking we've got I keep saying Terraquesta, but that's the type of player, isn't it?
Trequartista.
Yeah, where you have Sanchez, Ozil, and Santi, but when those three are on form, no one stands a chance against us. And I think today shows yet again that the closer we get to a full strength 11. And with a full strength squad, we're just unplayable. Liverpool were they were lucky the game didn't end 5-2 to us, even with their dodgy penalty. Tim's just said it's 1-0 Everton against Southampton.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah.
Oh, Swansea won.
Swansea won up as well. Yeah, that's Phil Thompson and his massive nose. How'd you get on today, Phil? Oh, I lost 4-1. Never mind, come.
You can curdle milk with that nose. He's so bitter.
I'm on form today.
It's a stunning game. There's very few things in life I like more than beating Liverpool. Could just remind you how shit those bin-dipping, pikey twats are.
Get off the fence, Danny. Tell us how you really feel. Tim, forgive me, I don't know what time it is over there. If I looked at my clock, I would be able to tell. What time is it over there at the moment, Tim?
Or 5 a.m.
It's 4:18 p.m.
4:18 p.m. Good. Okay.
Yep.
So a nice time for you to be watching football then, really. What was your thoughts on today in general?
I thought we played very, very well. Like I said to Danny in our WhatsApp group, we had to try and keep things fairly tight in the second half, not do anything stupid, not chip any stupid goals, and really we didn't. That penalty, really, there was more just a case of Sterling really falling over, wasn't it? There wasn't that much contact there from Hector Bellerin, but Sterling just kind of fell like a sack of potatoes. I think it was more actually his dodgy hip, because he seemed to be having a bit of a problem moving around in the second half. Sterling, was it just me who saw that? Would you guys also notice that?
I blame the overratedness. It was weighing him down, I think. But I think
Payment.
he definitely didn't look fit towards the last 20 minutes or so, did he? After he took that knock first half, so yeah, he didn't look.
Probably had to chase his 10th child or something. That's why.
Okay. Anything else to add there, Tim? Before I go to John.
Yeah, I thought lovely Brazilian Gabriel did very well when he came on in the second half. He made a couple of good interceptions. I believe Sanchez got man of the match, which was pretty well deserved. He was pretty much everywhere. I think maybe the man of the match was maybe a stretch a little bit too far for him. I thought the aforementioned Mr. Bellerin had a very good game on at right back, and I thought Nacho Monreal in particular on the left was very, very good as well. He made a number of very good clearances, good interceptions. I don't think anybody got past him once. From that side, it really, really stumped. It really stumped the attack of Liverpool. They were getting no joy down that right-hand side at all. Their right-hand side, our left. Yeah.
I agree with that, and more on Nacho later because I wanted to bring him up. So good shout, John. I'll come to you. Before I do, actually, Stan the man. Good afternoon from Amsterdam. Good afternoon, Stan. Hope you're well, sir.
Spent a weekend there.
Yeah, so did I. It felt like a week. It was awesome. Anyway. 7 dildos in my ass at one time. No, I didn't really.
Look at you going on Goonosphere. How dare you?
I was going to say this is not a PG show, so I'm allowed to say these things. John, if you can get that image out of your head, give us your thoughts on today, first of all.
That's really disturbing.
Sorry,
I'm just struggling with the dildos now. And
so was
you
I.
mentioned dildos, and I think of Jason Davies as well, which is even more disturbing. But
yeah.
No, it was. I was a bit anxious in the game going into it because it's normally when you have two form teams in the Premier League, you think, oh, it all gets hyped up and it's going to be a draw and it'll end up being boring. But as it was Liverpool and Arsenal, it's both two teams that can play brilliantly or completely collapse and fall to bits. Started well and then gave Liverpool lots of chances, and Danny was getting very angry in a WhatsApp group saying, why are we playing like bellends or something to that effect. And then all of a sudden they just turned it on and scored the goals, and I was like, well, this is amazing. But then I got the usual Arsenal thing of second half. I was like, oh, please don't end up throwing it away. And we played sensibly, didn't play too high. You know, they got the penalty. I did actually think it was a penalty. But for the second time this season, we've had a referee who was shit for most of the game, but for some reason, any other game, Bellerin gets sent off there, gets a second yellow, and he wasn't given a second yellow, which I thought was bizarre. I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but I'm sure the Liverpool fans will. And it was like the Man United game where if it was any other season, we would have had loads of decisions go against us. So it was nice to get the rub of the green, so to speak. And I just thought, if anything, we probably should have scored more. To be honest, I think Liverpool got in twice behind us, maybe 3 times. They didn't take their chances. I think we could have had 6 or 7 and really, rubbed their noses in it today.
Yeah, I agree. All fair points. I know we'll touch on Anthony Taylor later on. I know Tim's a big fan. But yeah, you're right on the red card.
Started on Taylor, please.
See what I mean?
Oh.
You're right on the red card. It probably should have been on any other day. Probably would have been. And at 3-1 with 15 minutes to go with us with 10 men, I'd have been a little bit pooey pants. But good job it wasn't. Danny, can you give us just for anyone that wasn't able to watch the match or was only listened to brief tweets or whatnot, can you give us some breakdown stats wise for today?
According to WhoScored.com, it's still 3-0.
How good. Good stuff.
It is. It honestly is.
Go on Soccerway. It's on there.
Yeah, no. So I don't like Soccerway because they always get their percentages wrong. But the goals came in the 37th minute by Bellerin with a Ramsey assist. Then Mesut Ozil scored a worldie of a free kick, and I was videoing them off of the telly to show Dom while he's out philandering with the ladies. And I thought, I'm not picking my phone up to take a video of Ozil's free kick because I jinxed it, so I didn't touch it. It was on charge. I'm not touching it. he scored it. I picked it up and videoed it. So there you go. I want to claim an assist for that goal. Then Sanchez scored in the 45th minute with an assist by Ramsey again, who I thought was fantastic. And he's only gone off with a looks like a pull of some sort, doesn't it?
The back.
Groin, I think. Was it groin? They said. I think
I
they said
the
groin.
back at
But
one
I don't know.
Yeah, he was moving quite well after the game when he went up the touchline, so that's a good sign, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think he had a bit of a warm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always good to see. So we scored 3 goals in the space of 8 minutes, and then there was that penalty, which I had my back turned to the telly because I was looking for my socks when the penalty was given away, and I thought Henderson is going to go and miss that, but he didn't. He scored in the 76th, and then super Ollie Giroud, 6 Premier League games in a row he scored. He's got to be coming to some kind of record, and he scored in the 91st minute with an assist by the superb Sanchez. And for the actual stats for the game, well, this is according to Soccerway, so they're probably all bullshit. We had 6 corners to 5, shots 5 to 1, and shots wide 2 to 7. Most of those were Sterling, as he had a shit game. Fouls 4 to 8. That can't be right, can it?
Well, could be.
And then possession 54-46 for us. We're conceding at one point just before Liverpool scored. I think the possession was 71% to them.
Yeah.
Which wasn't too bad. There was only 1 booking or 2 bookings for the entire game. 3. Bellerin got 1, and then Chan. Yeah, he got a couple, but it was good to see that Coquelin didn't get any.
Coquelin.
Oh,
that was hilarious, wasn't it? Wasn't it hilarious? I tell you what I particularly enjoyed as well as the game. I particularly enjoyed Harry Redknapp quivering in his own droopy face after the game when he was moaning about everything to do with us, which I thought was funny. And just hearing the pain in Michael Owen's voice when he had to give us credit was absolutely delightful. He was very quiet today. I wonder why.
Lack of knees, that's why.
Lack of knees. I tweeted a picture, actually. I took a screen grab of the celebrations afterwards, which I'm happy to say that I've seen at least 12 people steal and pass off as their own, so that's good. Good old Twitter.
Plagiarism at its finest.
But in fairness, I don't mind too much because I really couldn't give a monkeys. I just thought I'd have a moan for the sake of it.
QPR 1, West Brom 0, QPR 1.
Yes.
Apparently it's pronounced Chan.
Chan.
T-S-C-H. Vargas, Danny.
I prefer the pronunciation.
Go whack. Said that.
I prefer the pronunciation twat. Seems to work for me.
He's a bit of a unit, though, isn't he?
He is.
With him.
Yeah, no, he's a big lad. He was at Leverkusen before, but anyway, I digress. Let's go through the goals then individually. So the first one, as you rightly said, Danny, Hector Bellerin's cut in and.
What was it you shouted?
Hector. I've got a funny story actually about the Alexis goal, but I'll come to that in a minute. But the first goal from Hector Bellerin. Who's come on leaps and bounds. Lovely finish. As soon as he cut inside, I thought he's gonna do him here. And I know Redknapp was bitching and saying, "Oh well, this is the modern game. You know, he can't put his arms out because he's worried about the ball hitting his arms." Well, if he got his body in the way, it wouldn't matter. So that's bullshit. Tim, give us your thoughts on the Bellerin goal in particular, and sort of the build up. And it was just a delightful goal to look at, wasn't it?
It was a lovely goal to look at. There were a couple of players involved. I seem to recall Santi, I think, got a touch on the ball, and Giroud got... I think it was Giroud who supplied the pass to him, wasn't it? It wasn't Ozil, it was Giroud. Yeah, I think it was Giroud. I thought Giroud had a very good game today, generally, aside from his goal, which I know you'll get to later. The ball through to Bellerin was very good. He completely cut inside, I think it was Sacco, he left behind, and then cut across and just... basically shot straight in front of Chan, left Chan with absolutely no chance. He tried to kind of half raise his knee to get in the way, but it didn't really have any effect. It was a very, very well taken goal. I didn't actually know he could shoot with his left foot.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, because I seem to recall the one he scored against Aston Villa was with his right. That one he scored earlier this season against Villa, the 5th one, yeah. So it's nice to know that we actually have a really top 2-footed left back, really 2-footed right back rather.
Yeah.
So
the ability to use both feet, especially to shoot from that angle, because anyone can.
It wasn't an easy chance.
I can vouch for anyone at Sunday League level. Anyone can just swing a foot at it and hope for the best on their wrong foot. But to guide a shot like that into the far corner was particularly good to see, and shows what technical level he plays at. So it was a lovely goal. In fact, all the goals were lovely.
On that Bellerin goal, I was just going to say, as the media won't give the credit, the ball from Ozil, I think it was just inside our half, out to Ramsey on the right wing, which just opened the space for Bellerin to run into. Just made again, Ramsey will probably end up getting the assist, will count for the assist, but it's Ozil who makes that pass, and then Ramsey can lay it inside for Bellerin to make the run. I mean, what he does is great.
Was it Ramsey? Whoops.
Yeah, the little shimmy in the run was great, but that ball from Ozil, the diagonal, was absolutely lovely. Sometimes it's nice to see him pick the ball up from deep and play those longer passes.
Yeah, no, we'll touch on Mesut definitely in a minute. Danny, in fact, I'll give you. I know you said, and you've said every week pretty much, you'd be like, "Yeah, we're going to win this score, and Mesut's going to score." He did today, and something incredible happened on the same year that we've had a solar eclipse. We scored a free kick again, which is nice. Danny, what was your thoughts on Magic Mesut stepping up for that free kick goal?
Oh, it's almost like he knew he was going to do it, because when he ran up to take a kind of a little stutter, I thought, well, is Sanchez going to take it? And I thought, no, Ozil's going to take it, because he's it was left-footed, wasn't it, into the top left-hand corner? Yeah. Just trying to only seen it about 5 times in my dreams, but it's actually fantastic. So I was saying to someone before, I talk to people about football all the time, and I was saying that gone are the days when Van Persie would take every single free kick. I think it might have been on the pod, because I said Ronaldo has said he's missed his last 90 free kicks, and for most people that would be an entire career, but for him that was 3 months. It's 3 months. He's not scored since Christmas or something.
It's that great football myth, isn't it, that Ronaldo's a wonderful free kick taker. And Van Persie had the same myth, didn't he?
Yeah, but it's a fantastic. He knew what he was going to do with it. He knew where he was going to place it. And still to this day, I have no idea who or why thought that Mongole is better than Reina, because he's not. Mongole name by nature. He's rubbish. So as soon as he took it, I thought Mongole was going to do that. And he didn't, and it was fantastic. And little things like that. Another thing of beauty from Ozil was in the first half, at the halfway line, he ran from he lost the ball at the halfway line. He ran back to the 18-yard box, helped with the tackling, got the ball, went past 2 players, dummied them, and then passed it off to someone else, and an attack happened. I'm reliving it in my brain. That's what I do.
Well, I mean, obviously he doesn't work hard enough, does he? I mean, I was sat here, I ran out of drink, and he was nowhere to be seen. I mean, he should be doing that. It's poor.
This shows how good he is, scoring a fantastic free kick like that. And he was, when it comes to man of the match, I think if Bellerin hadn't have given away the penalty, then he might have been up for man of the match. I think it's between Bellerin, Santi, Sanchez, and Ozil. It's brilliant to be in a position where you can't pick man of the match because they've all had such good games.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I want to take the third goal just because I've got an amusing story.
We'll be back for that.
Yeah, probably won't be. It's one of those you have to be there for, really. But I was chatting on WhatsApp via the speech thing to my mate Gaz, and we were sort of chatting back and forth about various subjects. And we do this thing where, if we're sort of nervous about a game, we try and talk about anything but the game, because it tends to deflect from the nerves.
Who does he support?
He's a gooner as well. He's the guy who was on the Invincibles pod with us. That's the one.
There's a cat as his avatar on Twitter.
That's the Badger. Good knowledge. Bit creepy.
Followed me on the Highburyans. That's how I remember.
Oh,
sad times.
Gaz, you've been called out, mate. You're gonna have to address that.
It is full of shit, though. I'd unfollow it myself.
Anyway, so I was talking to him about random bollocks. I think we were actually talking about going to WrestleMania in 2017 or something as we were watching the game, and just as I got to the end of my sentence, I let out a very high-pitched girly scream as Alexis hit that shot, and then cut the message off and ran around my room with my hands in the air, which was one of those moments where I just didn't see it. I had no idea it was coming. When the ball... There you go, look. There's the picture.
I'm really happy. Oh, hello everybody. I'm really happy. I've done a goal.
Thanks for sharing that picture, Danny. I shall put that on my Twitter later on. But yeah,
plagiarised as I speak.
Yeah, as
So
you
you
do.
ran around screaming like a girl.
I did. I think I was talking to him, and I just went, "Oh, what a goal!" And I swear, my balls were in my throat. It was one of those moments. But I'm delighted to be able to say that, and it was just. I think the thing I loved most about the goal was the fact that I can't remember the defender. It might have been Agent Colo, but he does that little kind of half sidestep to get around him before he unleashes that shot. And I know that Michael Owen was saying, well, Mignolet, that's got to be a goalkeeping error. Fuck off. It's a brilliant strike. I mean, to hit it, it dips as he hits it. It's just a terrific goal. And bear in mind as well, this is a guy that people were sort of saying, oh, his goals have dried up. He's not looking as confident. I mean, that's just bollocks. When you're a world-class footballer and you have that time to be able to unleash something like that, I mean, it was only a matter of time before he got back on the score sheet. And his performance overall was good as well today. But that goal was just, it was just beautiful. Thing of beauty. And then we then sort of, obviously at half time, I know a few of us were sort of sitting there thinking, 3-0, it's the cliche is a dangerous score is 2-0, at 3-0 you should be out of sight. But this is Arsenal, so we never take anything for granted, do we? I think it's fair to say. So we went into the second half and it was a bit quiet. We didn't really create huge amounts. And then of course they get back into the game with the penalty. Which Ospina got a hand on but couldn't keep it out. Were any of you worried? I'll come to Tim on this one. Did you have any concerns? Did you sort of think that maybe we were going to do in Newcastle as it's done in the trade or said in the trade?
No, I thought, not with Gabriel on the pitch. He looked, like I said earlier on, he looked very, very safe and secure at the back. We had Hector Bellerin, who was doing a great job on the right. He was keeping them mostly shut down. Didn't give Sterling very much room to move after Sturridge came on. Sturridge looked absolutely useless. He didn't offer a damn thing for them. And Per was largely unruffled, really. He made a number of decent clearances in the second half. He booted one out, which was quite good. And there was one sliding one which he cleaned the player out and took the ball out of play as well. I thought Per had a very, very secure game there. He actually looked better once Gabriel came on. There was, if I can just draw us aside, there was a very funny tweet here from our Darren Berry. If you guys follow him, it's at dberry1974.
That's fantastic.
It's the best thing about Ozil's free kick. The best thing about Ozil's free kick was that it might still convince Scousers that it's possible to actually go around a wall.
Oh, that's priceless. That is brilliant. Love that.
I really couldn't see any sort of defensive collapse even after that penalty. There was just no way. They weren't offering enough going forward. Our defense had them locked down, really. They were getting nothing. Even after Ospina looked a bit shaky in the opening couple of minutes, I remember a couple of us were saying, or at least me, was saying Ospina was doing a bit of a Chesney running around out of goal, but he seemed to calm that down after about 10-15 minutes into the match. After that, he looked quite steady. Didn't look like he was going to drop anything into the net, so he even went the right way for the penalty. It just went just beyond his fingertips. I don't think you could really ask much more of the guy, really. It would have been a very difficult one for any goalkeeper to save.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have noticed that a few people have crept out the woodwork, and you know when you have that one player that everyone sort of we had it with Nacho earlier on in the season where everyone sort of jumped on his back, and there's always it's almost like as an Arsenal fan, everyone's got to have one player that they quote don't rate, and I noticed that.
Kowalski.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed that a lot of people are on Ospina's back. Oh, he should have saved the penalty. I know, in fairness, Jay said the same in our group. I'm just not buying it. I think it's very hypercritical. A penalty for me, as a striker, you should score. A goalkeeper saving it is not necessarily a skill. I think it's just the luck of the draw if you get a hand on it, if you go the right way. And yeah, he gets a hand on it, but it was a decent pen, and that's life. But yeah, he did have a few moments that were a little bit worrying, but I'd rather have him than Mignolet, that's for sure. But anyway, drawing a line under that. John, let's come to you. Fourth goal, Giroud. It was almost like the cherry on the icing on the top of the cake. Kind of breakaway, but it's still a lovely finish. And I think the stat was that he's got, was it 10 in 10 now?
Yeah, I think it is 10 in 10, something like that.
First player to do it since Wrighty, apparently, in the 90s. So
oh, wow, okay.
he's... first player to score 10. I think it's 10 consecutive games or 10 goals in 10 games, something like that. The stat was I was kind of doing stuff as they mentioned the stats. So anyone that
alone say it because it will be bullshit.
I think it was the other commentator that said it, but I'm sure somebody will pick up on the chat box what the stat was. But either way, it was just a lovely way to finish off a pretty perfect day, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, great finish. The way he controlled the ball and then turned Agent Colo inside out. I think Toure had given up by that point. He was just, I've had enough of this. But yeah, just spun in that way and then just put the ball so it curls just outside the post and then back in. It's, lovely finish. I was a bit disappointed with him earlier in the game because I think he should have had more goals. There was that the header he had that went straight at Mignolet.
Yeah.
Where they were going, oh, amazing save. And I was sitting there watching it thinking, well, if he puts that either side, it's a goal. It's not really an amazing save. Mignolet could have stuck his tongue out. He still almost cocked it up because he didn't get his hand to it. It just came off his wrist and then he spun in anyway. But, I thought Giroud, he didn't start the game great, but he got better as it went on. I actually thought he wasn't holding up the ball as well as he normally does. Great finish. Pleased that he's kept on this run. Everything seems to be going in at the moment in one way or another as long as he gets a couple of chances. So as long as he keeps doing that till the end of the season, that'd be great. Just quickly whilst I'm on, Danny, can you look up, someone asked in the chat box, Daniel Cronin asked, was that the 20th goal for Alexis in all competitions? I'm not I haven't got the stats. I know you'd be able to check that sort of thing before I forget.
Go and have a look. I'm just
Sounds about right. That
Giroud's stats is scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In the last 15 games, he's scored 13 goals, and that's the Premier League. But actual consecutive goals, he's now got 7 in his last 6 Premier League games.
There was I think it might have been in the first half. There was, I'm sure it was. There was a beautiful ball played into him. I can't remember who done it.
Yeah, Sanchez got 20.
As he, Sanchez has got 20. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, you were right, Daniel Cronin. Well done. Someone played the ball into him, and he just took it with the instep as his left foot with his back to the defender and flicked it the other way. And it was just this wonderful pass. And the way Ian Dark on BT just went, and casual ball out to the wing. I just thought, fucking lazy prick.
Yeah.
Really casual ball? Oh, if that's Aguero or Messi, it's what a pass!
Or if it's Gerrard, of course. Yeah.
Most bizarre thing that happened today though was the fact that Robbie Savage almost got a bit of praise from me because the look on his face when Michael Owen said in the studio before the game that Raheem Sterling was better than Mesut Ozil. He really didn't know what to say. I had to come back to him and say, "Are you sure? Are you what? Did you?" He looked genuinely confused.
Yeah,
he's obviously trying to keep the show going, and
it's staggering, isn't it? It's staggering. Yeah. I must admit, I find that Fletch and Sav show is the equivalent to watching a live abortion. So I tend to avoid it at all costs, if I'm honest.
Sounds like fun. Live abortion, Chris.
Yeah, they do them every Saturday night.
Did a bit of Michael Owen said, I'd like to have been a player nowadays, the amount of money they want.
Money I heard that,
You retired 2 years ago and you had a fucking massive move to bloody Real Madrid.
And makes more money off horses than he ever did off football.
It does. Silly fucker.
Well, it is Michael Owen.
Twat.
And wasn't he on like 60,000 a week when he was at Newcastle?
Yeah, exactly.
As well. He was on packets of money up there, and they got nothing for him because he buggered off on a free.
Look how easy he's come from the little darling that everybody loved
to yes.
that everyone thinks is an utter bell end. I want to know how Sky and BT decide what people to have as their pundits. We pay their wages, or we should choose because we don't want fucking Michael Owen on it or anyone who's ever played for Liverpool. How the hell is Danny Murphy on Match of the Day and all these other ones?
Claridge is the one that gets me.
Yeah, they look like extras from fucking Lord of the Rings. They've not seen daylight, dirty northern twat.
It is quite funny. It is quite funny. I'd say the thing with sort of the commentary in that is, again, I think it just depends. I think the one thing you've got to remember is that everyone's got their favourites, and I suppose they're contractually obliged to say certain things about certain players who are going to get more hits or more clicks on their stupid websites and all that. So,
Kris, Alan Shearer is nobody's bloody favourite, honestly.
No, that's true.
It is hilarious when you have Michael Owen commentating on a Man United Liverpool game.
Exactly.
And it's the only time he doesn't favour Liverpool just because he won a league title with Man United. It's fucking hilarious.
That's what I thought was weird about Harry Redknapp being on the punditry. I just thought, I could understand Righty, but McManaman, but Redknapp, it's like, what? It's jobs for the boys, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen that Borussia Mönchengladbach are 4-1 up now.
4-1 up, yeah.
And Verona 3-3, and Luca Toni's got 2 of them.
Oh, Luca Toni.
They were 3-0 up.
But I see Inter is still struggling to break down bankrupt Parma, so that's good.
Oh, God.
They bought on Podolski because it got desperate.
Never gets that desperate. I do actually want to touch on. I know Man United want to move on. I do want to just touch on Johnny 12 Kids. Because obviously we've had sort of the things in the press this week, and obviously I want to focus on the game today, but just to pick out his performance. Granted, Liverpool were, I think the technical term for today is shite, but he for me, he played in the position that he wanted to play. He was further forward today.
He did a Theo.
I just genuinely thought he was pretty anonymous. I mean, okay, and Bellerin, well, between Bellerin and the centre backs, they seem to have him fairly comfortably in their pockets, and it just didn't strike me that. I mean, this is a guy that apparently is being linked to Real Madrid. I'm not buying it. I'm not a big fan of old jug ears at Real Madrid, but in fairness to him, when he was
Mr. Davies won't have that, and it's Davies, not Davies.
Tough.
Apparently, I've been schooled in Welshness now. Mr. Davies won't have that. We glove.
Tell him to spell his name properly then.
Oh, you tell him. I'll leave the room.
Shots fired. But no, I mean, irrespective, I can respect the guy's got ability. I'm not denying that. He clearly is a very, very talented young footballer. But for me, he played at Spurs. You're dead to me. And even Sol Campbell is making himself look like a bit of a tit at the moment. But
he's unfortunate. Did you hear him on Match of the Day? Oh my lord, my cat could have done better.
Because I'm Sol Campbell, he said this week, didn't he, when they were talking about the stuff about politics. Oh,
he's got a hard life. Poor old Daniel Owen in the window is saying the funniest part of the game is me finding out how to tell my Scouse brother who is asleep that we stuffed him. They lost, that Liverpool won.
Makes me chuckle as well. Arsblog's brother is a
mug smasher.
He calls him the mug smasher. Yeah, that was quite fun to listen to.
My brother's a Liverpool fan, but he hates football. But
it's a shame. They should probably all just be put down. But Sterling, I just want to do a very quick straw poll. Okay, so I'll go round the room, as it were. So based on his overall performance of the season and what the rumours are going on, I don't think there's any chance he'll end up at Arsenal. But if you were offered the swap, would you, Danny, start with you, would you swap him for Walcott?
No.
Good. John?
Or if it's a straight swap, I don't really want him, but I want someone better than Theo.
Okay.
I'd lean to yes just because he's younger.
Okay, fair enough. Tim?
Nah.
There we go.
Leave him there.
Pretty much a full house. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd rather someone else, but yeah, if it was a choice between the two, then I'd lean to Sterling.
If it was cash plus player, if they were willing to give us 5 to 10 million plus Sterling for Theo, that I'd look at. Yeah. Because then you've got some cash in hand. Because Sterling's going to need a bit of that to move house because he needs somewhere to put all those kids of his. So
show how much they on radio know about football in general. They went, why would Sterling want to go back to London? And they went, when he's a London boy.
Yeah.
Went, was he? I didn't know. Well, he was not really a London boy. He's from Jamaica. He moved to London when he was 5, and he was at QPR.
QPR.
Shit on QPR
to
Liverpool. They didn't know any of that bloody stuff.
No, he grew up in Wembley, didn't he? I thought the funniest part of the whole story, the funniest part of it was Brendan Lips, as I'm now going to call him, trying his very best to sort of, because it was clear that Raheem Sterling went into business for himself to talk about the interview he gave was clearly off his own back, and it was when Brendan Rodgers was squirming in his seat yesterday, sort of trying to justify my relationship with Raheem has always been strong. Bollocks, absolute bollocks. And then he did this fake hand, when they came out the training ground, they were pictured shaking hands. Oh. Yeah. makes me sick. Let's get back to Arsenal before I feel ill. I want to go through a couple of players individually. We'll start with Mesut Ozil. Danny, I know you've touched on him, so I'll go to the other guys. Tim, we'll start with you. Granted, Mesut divides opinion. I think he will for as long as he's got a red shirt on. But surely there can't be anyone that can't say that he was outstanding today. Surely.
No, I thought he was utterly brilliant. I know I'm one of those who has a tendency to criticise Ozil a little bit, but I felt he really lifted his game today versus Liverpool. I thought his passing was spot on. His runs were spot on. His positioning was brilliant. He tracked back a number of times to win the ball as well. He was brilliant. For me, it's solid 9.5 out of 10. I'd give him 9.5 because he only got the one goal. It would be 10 if he got 2
Ozil
out. Not even. No, he was very good today. He was very, very good today.
Absolutely, and John, as a fellow football hipster, I think you'll understand what I say when I say that with Ozil, he's one of those players that you have to watch him, or you almost watch a game back after you've seen a game, and that's when you really appreciate how much he does. Because during the game, you tend to do that Sunday League thing of you follow the ball rather than the game. But when you look back on a performance like that, I mean, taking away the free kick alone, just the influence he seems to have over our side is just it's lovely to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, his distribution of the ball was always great. He gave it away like 2-3 times, but you're going to do that if you're that sort of player. You're trying to find that killer pass all the time. You're bound to give the ball away. He's not. Sometimes I kind of think it's not actually his fault that he's giving it away. I think it's that other players aren't smart enough to see the runs.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one bit where I wouldn't call Santi Cazorla a stupid player, but Ozil let the ball run. He didn't even make a pass or touch the ball, but he knew Cazorla was behind him, and Cazorla didn't read it. It was kind of sometimes when I watch him play, it's a bit like when Bergkamp first came to the club, and his brain and the way he sees the game is above a lot of the people around him. So they have to improve their level, and it does. It brings everyone else up in the team. But I thought, he tracked back well. When Ramsey went off, he went out wide because Ramsey was playing right side, which actually at first I was a bit confused by, but then it made sense with the way Liverpool play with their wing backs. I thought it was a good move. He came back and he was helping Bellerin out. He he knows when to run with the ball, when to take a foul to sort of relieve pressure. I just think he's got better and better since he's come back from that injury. And I'm like Tim. I will criticise people all day long when they play for Arsenal if I don't think they've played well enough. I think the problem is with people, they don't. If you're a huge Ozil fan, then it seems to be that you love him and you'll only ever praise him. If you don't like him, all you do is slag him off and you never praise him. The people who are in the middle, who I would call the normal people and not morons, sorry to anyone who's either way, but you are, the people who are in normal actually are allowed to criticise a player but say, yeah, he did this wrong, but the rest of the game he did this right. That's fine, that's acceptable. Nobody's perfect, but I just think people still don't appreciate how good a player he is. And you're right. If people could go back and watch a game afterwards and just watch Ozil and don't watch anything else, a bit like the Zidane movie when that came out.
Yeah.
The camera's on him the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a different way to watch football, and you really do see a lot more from a player when you do that.
Absolutely, and also when people are very quick to jump on and criticise Ozil, don't forget that Arsene Wenger, I'm 99% sure, will have people employed to watch videos of individual players every week. Yeah. So he is going to see all those things that we are not paid to see, and obviously, of course, everyone on Twitter knows best. So just leave that there.
Correct.
Yes.
Who do we have on visitors' questions? Have they posted anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna come to that in 2 secs. I just want to run through 2 other players, and then I'll hand it over to our listeners. Absolutely. So thank you for reminding me, Tim. Appreciate that.
Oh, hello, Natasha Nunez just dropped in. Sorry.
Yes, Tasha from Trinidad.
Tasha, yes.
Danny, I wanted to ask you. Hello, how are you? Are you well?
Just reading through people's tweets. Someone just put up a tweet saying there's the bloke reporting on the Reading Cardiff game, and the Reading Stadium behind him is half empty, and saying why should Reading get the same amount of tickets as Arsenal when this is their pathetic home support? Sure. I've retweeted it from my own account so people can have a look, but ridiculous.
Up for debate. We'll touch on stuff like that in a minute. Actually, I want to shout out something, but I know you're quite the fan of the sort of the quote-unquote English core, and you like to see players from the local area coming through, and players we've had at the club since year dot. But would it be fair to say that Kieran Gibbs does not get into this side because Nacho Monreal is just, the guy's been reborn. Again today, particularly I loved when he made Sturridge look like an absolute bellend on the touchline, where Sturridge sort of tried one trick, failed, tried a second trick, failed, and then Nacho just went, yeah, shouldered him off, took the ball away, ran off, see you later. You like Nacho, don't you? I mean, I know you like nachos, but do you like Nacho?
Yeah, I do like Mr. Nacho. I mean, it's taken him a while. He's a defensive left back, isn't he? And Gibbs isn't really a defensive left back because he was a left-footed striker as a kid. And then when he was at Wimbledon or MK Dons, whichever one it was, he then come to Arsenal and he was converted to a left back, because when you get someone who's left-footed who's good at controlling the ball and small like him, or not small, but he's not a big lanky person, is he? So no. I think they've played him there, which is why I was always very happy with him being like a wing back. And I think when we're playing against teams where you don't really need to defend that much, that's when maybe Gibbs will get some more games. But after the display against Man City, I said that I would never moan at Monreal. I think it was that game. I'll never moan at Monreal again, because he was absolutely superb that game, and he's superb every game, just like old Arsenal left backs of years gone by, where you could rely on them, where you knew they weren't going to get caught out of position or try and run up the field and try and score the whole time, which is unfortunately what Gibbs does. But I would say Gibbs is, like I said, more of a wing back than a left back at times. I still think he's good. Yeah. Even when he played for England in midweek, he didn't really do anything fantastic.
No. I think the thing with Nacho that you notice as well is that, well done Inter, 1-1 draw with Parma, well done. Good job I cashed that bet out. Anyway, with I think the thing with Nacho as well is that obviously he proved at Old Trafford that he knows, I think it's like game management, which is this popular phrase, but I've been saying for years. He sort of seems to know when to go forward, when to take a gamble, and when to sit. And I think with Kieran Gibbs in particular, and to a degree even Bellerin, who like John said, nobody's above criticism. Sometimes he does get caught up field, but he's young and he's inexperienced and he'll learn. Whereas Monreal, you can clearly see, he's a Spanish international. He plays with some very high-level players at both Arsenal and international level, and he just seems to know when to go forward, when not. And I think second half, he pretty much sat in his own half the whole game, because he's like, well, we're 3-0 up. There's no point. I don't need to bomb on. Whereas with Kieran Gibbs, sometimes I think there's a tendency to just bomb on regardless. So I wanted to single him out. I also want to just mention as well the injuries. There was sort of talk about Ramsey and Cos. I think Cos came off with a suspected groin pull. Speaking to Dom, and I think from what I could see,
he makes any sense out of him.
Yeah,
Sheila's everywhere.
I'm fucking hammered, mate. No, he was saying that he came off under his own steam. He didn't appear to be sort of grasping at the groin, so to speak. He looked like it was just. Yeah, that was just Dom. It looked to me like it was precautionary, and I hope so. I mean, at that stage, surely the manager went, there's no point taking a risk, let's take you off. So hopefully it's precautionary. If it's a tweak, he might be missing 2 or 3 weeks, but obviously Gabriel come on and did well. And with Ramsey, as I said, after the game, he seemed to do the walk down okay, and he seemed to be fairly comfortable, so hopefully that's nothing serious. But on the positive news, we did see pictures this week. I know we touched on it on the pod. That we saw Debussy, we saw Jack Wilshere returning to the side, and a lesser spotted Diaby possibly as well. I wanted just to very quickly touch on Diaby. There was comments from the manager. He was asked in his press conference yesterday about Diaby, and for the first time, I think ever, he did actually say, we need to sit down, we need to talk, and he did say that his future is not decided yet, and that he has to play.
Sorry.
Before
someone in the comments,
I just saw that.
Dan has just put a brilliant comment. Also, next season, The Dark Knight Rises, Sonogo. Sorry.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. Again, I just want to go a quick straw poll down the line, as it were. I'll start with Tim. Abu Diaby. If he plays before the end of the season at all, do you think we will keep him around, or do you still think his days are done?
I still think his days are done, to be honest. He had that game, if you remember, end of last season. I think it was versus Norwich.
Yep.
Were Norwich still up last season? Yeah. I think he played, what was it, first half, I think? And then he didn't come back on for the second half. He was supposedly fully fit then, and he still only lasted 45 minutes. So, and this was against really a Norwich team who were utter crap and who got relegated. Yeah. So you can't really ask for a less... You couldn't really ask for a less stressful match to bring a guy on. It's not like we threw him on for 45 minutes away to Manchester United.
Yeah.
You know, it was against bloody Norwich at home, and he still broke down with injury and still remained out for, what was it, 10 months.
Yeah.
And he's just come back now. I feel bad for the lad because he was a very good player, but unfortunately that Dan Brown tackle just ruined him. Really.
Yeah.
I really think he's done. I think he's done.
Fair enough. John, anything different, or are you on the same train of thought?
No, I think he's gone. The only thing I would say is that it's, as much as people go about Gerrard winning the FA Cup on his birthday written in the stars, I think it's written in the stars that Diaby's last game for Arsenal will be the cup final. He will break Gerrard's legs, both of them, score the winning goal, and then, I don't know, get his dick out and just slap Brendan Rodgers in the face with it. Retire forever.
Oh, I'd love that. I really would. Dick and all. Danny, anything to add to that?
Yeah, like Tim was saying, that he played the last game of last season, and then he played the 2 mid-season friendlies with pre-season friendlies with Bournemouth and New York Red Bulls. Played in the 3-0 win against Aston Villa away at Aston Villa in September this season.
Yeah.
And then he played in the League Cup against Southampton, which I vaguely remember. We lost that 2-1. But I wouldn't mind, because he seems to he's an honest and decent player, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stays on by a game contract, because we put so much time and money into him, and he's still only 20. He'll be 29 in the 11th of May.
Yeah.
So he's still got a good few years left in him, and I think it's not going to do any harm. He'd probably be quite happy with that, to stay at the club, get a chance to prove himself, be on a non-contract player.
I totally agree with that, actually, and I know a few people will be like, what? But
Why not? It's not going to cost us anything.
No,
Or
that's
maybe,
exactly it.
like a coach-player role. Something like that.
You've got a bit. I just think that if you've got a player like that, if he's not fit and he can't prove his fitness, then no, he's got to go, because at the end of the day, I feel for the guy, and it's not his fault, but we aren't a charity. That belongs to that lot up the road. But if he's happy with a pay as you play contract, and this is the important bit, if it doesn't prevent us from getting another player in, which I still think we need, that's the key thing.
Yes.
There's no harm in having him as part of the 30-man sort of pre-season squad.
Yeah.
Because you just never know. Because again, I just forgot that. 0 hours.
Yeah, 0 hours contract. Very good, Daniel.
But we all wrote Francis Coquelin off, and now he's as big a part, or as most important a part of this side as we can imagine. Now, granted, I agree he's not had the injury problems, so it's probably an unfair comparison. But my point is that you can't write anyone off at the very top level. They're seeing this guy week in, week out, and let's also not forget Shad Forsyth might be a guy that might have found something. That
He might be a wizard.
Exactly. He could prolong Diaby's career. He might have found something that other physios during Diaby's rehab didn't find. I'm not saying they have, but
if he does stay, next season is a triple whammy of testimonials.
Oh yes,
Diaby, Walcott, and Rosicky all are due a testimonial.
Yes, maybe that's why they're getting rid of him.
Yeah, get him off the payroll.
We can't have that many people.
Absolutely. As I say, that being said, we still could do with another player in his position. But let's be honest, Abu Diaby's not a central defensive midfielder anyway. Really, he's a forward-thinking sort of presence in the midfield. So he's a Yaya Toure, if you like.
And when they all get testimonials, I think Rosicky's would be nice against Dortmund.
That would be lovely.
Theo's would be against maybe Southampton.
Southampton.
Yeah, it'd have to be Southampton.
And I think Diaby's would be against Stoke Mandeville.
or against an LHS 11, perhaps, a closed doors friendly. But bless him, we take the mick, but we shouldn't really.
Good luck to Diaby. I hope he gets fit and stays.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the listeners in a short moment. So, if you've got any questions that you want to ask, ladies and gents, please feel free to pop them in, and we'll get to them.
Stu's just put, if Shad Forsyth fixes Diaby, he deserves a statue.
I think he deserves a place on the stadium's wall, Jojo Waxel, as well. I want to go through you all again just quickly with another quickie. Momentum. People are still talking about potentially catching Chelsea. I still don't buy it personally, and it's not because I'm a doom monger, because I'm generally quite a positive person, but I just think Chelsea will have enough, because even if we beat them at home, I don't know, I just feel like we won't get there. But we are 2 points ahead of Man City. Shad Forsyth the Grey, brilliant. we're 2 points ahead of Man City now. The momentum is with us. You know, we are on this hot streak at the moment. Obviously, it will come to an end at some point. All runs do, but we do tend to pick up momentum this time of the season. Excuse me. I want to go to all of you guys and just ask you again: have you changed your opinions on where we can finish? And if you have, where would we finish? So I'll go reverse order. Danny, do you think we'll finish any higher than you did pre-season, and do you think the title is still a realistic possibility?
I think pre-season I was saying 5th because it depends at what point in the season you're on about, pre or post Sanchez. But I was thinking 4th or 5th. I didn't think it was going to fall. I thought it was all going to fall apart again. Now I think we're 2nd is looking good because Man City are 4th at the moment because Man United are winning.
Oh yeah, good point.
Billions. Were you going to say something then?
No, I was just saying good point. I never thought of that.
Yes. So I thought that the season was going to be Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, and Man City were going to be top 4. But yeah, I think now we've finished 2nd. Chelsea are still capable of losing a couple of games this season because they've got bugger all else to play for, haven't they? Or have they? Have they got anything?
No, that's it. No, just league games.
Yeah, the league is all they've got. Yeah.
They've won the legendary League Cup. Oh yeah, they've got Stoke at home. They're away at QPR, home to Man United, away at us, and away at Leicester.
Yeah.
They need to lose 2 of those games. I mean, even for us to beat them, and then they need to lose a couple. Yeah, because at the moment we're 4 points behind and they've got 2 games in hand. I can't see us doing. There's no way they're going to fuck up completely. I know Cesc is doing his usual half-season wonder, and I know that it's only a matter of time until Diego Costa sexually assaults someone on the pitch and then eats what's left.
I think that's a fair point. So you think we'll be 2nd in the FA Cup? Okay, Tim, what do you reckon?
I think 2nd is entirely gettable for us. Like Danny said, I think 1st place is just too far. I don't think Chelsea are going to stumble enough for us to grab 1st. But 2nd is definitely gettable, particularly with, like Danny also said, Man City faltering. I think now basically 4th place is a straight fight, I think, but honestly, between City, United and Liverpool. And I think today with us beating Liverpool 4-1, I think we've actually put bait to them. I think they're going straight to the Europa League next season. I don't think they're going to make the Champions League at all. I think straight fight now for between 3rd and 4th place is between the 2 Manchester clubs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I see Danny's got his pussy out, which is good. John, finally, do you think do you think sort of title is realistic, or are you going with 2nd, 3rd, or 4th?
No, title is not realistic. People can think that, but they're talking out their fucking arse. To be perfectly honest. Chelsea aren't going to drop points in those games. Even if they get a couple of draws, they've got 2 games in hand. It's not going to happen. Today was important because you beat Liverpool. That gives us a 9-point gap, and it doesn't make the Man United and Chelsea game we've got to play irrelevant, but it gives us that nice cushion. I think pre-season, I was optimistic for 3rd, but now I'd say 2nd if City keep up this sort of dodgy run they're on, because I think it's the Manchester derby next week, and United are in better form, so United might beat City and do us a favour. But I think the sort of the 4 teams fighting out for the 3 places have all got to play each other. I think United have got the harder run of the lot. But I don't think Liverpool are out of the chase for the top 4 because, like I said, United could drop down and so can City. So as long as we finish, if we get 2nd in the FA Cup, that'll do nicely.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I said pre-season I thought we'd finish 3rd. I'm going to stick with it just because I don't really want to change my prediction. And to be perfectly honest, I still think that I'm genuinely not doom-mongering, but I'm not sure we'll beat Chelsea at home. I do think we'll take a point, but I think that might be a bit tighter than people think. And also, don't forget, we've got to go to Old Trafford. And I know people will say, oh, we beat them in the FA Cup, but that was a one-off game. And
Cup game's different to league.
Absolutely. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we either drew or took or left with nothing from there. It's just the way the season goes. I think it'd be far too simple for us to just win every game now. And also, let's not forget we've got to play teams like Hull who are fighting for their lives on a Monday night. More of that later. So I just think we'll probably end up just behind Burnley next, exactly.
Burnley next. Yeah.
So I think,
and that's away too.
Yes, and the old cliche, never an easy place to go, blah blah blah. But I think 3rd, and if we can retain the cup, I'd be more than happy with that. So and it's progress to talk of that. Right, listen to questions. There's not been too many. A lot of people just having a good debate in there, but I did pick up
I
on
did
one.
write some down that I
Yes.
saw. Got one
for it.
from Akib.
Yep.
Akib.
Aki.
What will happen to Jenkinson?
The age-old question. Danny, you can have that one.
Just talking to my cats.
I know.
What was the question? What's calling Dora? Trying to get. Oh, there you go. A bit of pussy action.
Pleasure and pussy.
That's Bergie with his
It's like
blue
having,
eyes.
it's like having Dom on again, isn't it?
Oh, there we are. Oh, look, it's kicking off, brother
Double-
and sister.
Double cap.
What was the question?
Question was, what do you think will happen to Jenko at the end of the season?
I think he'll be sold to West Ham, or maybe someone better than West Ham, because he's a future. He's definitely got some England caps in him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And I think someone might be able to convert him to a right winger, but he still seems too big for a right winger. He's built for someone who should be maybe a centre back. But I'd love to see him come back, and I'd love to see. But we can't have three regular players that are good enough to be first team right backs, can we?
No, I think that's
So
fair.
I think he'll leave. We can't afford to hinder. He's not as good as Bellerin, but he's not better than
Debuchy.
Debuchy. There is no place for him at the club, unfortunately.
Fair enough. John, did you have the question? I'm trying to find it, but somebody asked what they thought of. I think it was Jukester. Danny, Jesus, that's scary. I think it was Jukester that asked what we thought of Brendan Rodgers' comments about our pitch being the reason that Chan got sent off.
Oh, didn't he say something about it? I didn't. I read them on Twitter. Was it a greasy?
Something to do with the greasy surface that we'd watered it. And it was that he slipped. But the fact, I mean,
Slippy.
I'll take that one while we're at it. Brendan Rodgers, right? Firstly, you're a twat. Secondly, you look like you've had a lot of work done.
Say the first one again. I liked it.
Brendan Rodgers, you're a twat.
That's it.
You are a Ricky Gervais in the Office wannabe. You're a twat. I think I mentioned that. And you're a fraud. There we go. Said it. But just to add to that, I think he's talking rubbish because even Michael Owen. This is when you know you're talking crap. Even Michael Owen said when the tackle went in from Chan that he does slip as he makes contact, but he follows through with the opposite foot, which is the one that swipes the player from underneath. So I'm sorry, I'm not having that. You know, it's the equivalent of shooting somebody, and when you had one bullet in the gun and you miss with the first one where the trigger didn't pull, and you just say, well, I only had one bullet, so there's every possibility I wouldn't have shot him, and that's bullshit. The challenge was out of control. He was on a booking. It was mindless. So whether you want to blame the pitch or not, you're an idiot. So Rodgers is a twat. Next question, John.
Another one I have from Bruce AFC, not Bruce. I don't know who Bruce is. Why did we sell Afobe? Isn't he better than Sonogo? Afobe, who obviously scored yesterday in the Wolves Forest game, which Super Tuber Upcom.
Super Tuber Upcom. I know you're doing it. Dally, you've taken over there.
Super Tuber Appcom starred in.
Tim,
and Henry Lansbury.
Tim, what do you reckon to Afobe? Do you think that? I mean, I'll let you have yours and I'll chime in afterwards. Tim?
Me, okay.
Yeah.
I get to see very, very little of the championship, quite honestly, so I haven't seen Afobe once playing for Wolves.
That was a bad question to ask you.
Sorry.
That's the most concise, least Carpenter-esque answer we've had all day.
It is actually, yeah. Danny,
I get one championship game a weekend and it hasn't been Wolves. I saw Forest once earlier this season, and Lansbury played well, but that was about it.
You're not missing a lot. Danny, you do our roundups for the youngsters. Would you have kept Afobe, or are you happy with the fact what we've got? I mean, he wasn't going to play, was he?
Well, personally, I would scrap the entire youth and reserve system at Arsenal because what we had out of it? I would rather have the young players and loan them out when we need them, because it's our under-18s are doing horrendous this season. Every time the first team has a crisis of players, they nick them from the under-21s, then the under-21s nick from the under-18s, and the whole thing's a waste of time. You're never going to compete with teams like Man City and Chelsea who have 500 players each. I think it's utterly pointless. So I would scrap the entire system. I like the old way where it was reserves, where you had the Arsenal reserves, because at the moment with the under-21s, I think you can have 3 players that are out of age. So even if that's why we had to have a friendly in midweek against Brentford, because we had 6 or 7 players coming back that were all out of age, or maybe 6. So it just makes a mockery of the whole thing. But it is so hard because you're never ever going to have a player who's going to come through the youth system at Arsenal who's going to be able to compete against the likes of Sanchez or Welbeck or Giroud or any of that lot.
Oh, your child's back, Danny.
I know. Let's see if she says anything.
I agree with that, and also don't forget, you've got you've got, as we've mentioned, Akpom, but you've also got potentially somebody else who could come in, and it's not really fair on the player at the end of the day. I think you've got to. Hello, child. You've got to you've got to think about.
I made that. That's my sperm.
Jesus Christ!
I bet she really appreciates that, Danny.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
Best bit of me dribbled down my leg.
Oh God! Christ on a pike. Anywho, yeah. You've got to think about the player as well, and how do we know the player might turn around and say, look, I'd like to get games, and Arsene Wenger is quite famous for not killing careers. So, and we have got Super Yaya coming back. So, any other questions there, John, that you've written down?
There was one. Oh no, well, no, not a question. Don't compare Brendan Rodgers to David Brent. That's really insulting to David Brent.
I saw that. I've got one. I got one I can ask Tim actually. Seeing as Tim didn't have a question. Tim, can I ask you?
Go for it.
Who was it that asked? I'm trying to find who it was. There you go. Jojo Wax says, which Liverpool player would get into this Arsenal team?
Perhaps the water boy, maybe. Otherwise, I really can't see a single one of them getting into our team at all. We're just better all over the pitch. I think maybe only Henderson for Flamini as a squad player, perhaps. But no starters. No starters.
Fair enough. I kind of agree. I don't think there's any starters. The only ones I would probably take, I know we've taken the piss out of him, but I probably would have Emre Can.
I'd have him today and play midfield, not
but as a midfielder, not a centre back.
He played wonderful for the German under-21s.
He did, yeah, he did. I think I think as a central defensive midfielder, where Leverkusen had him, I think he would be quite good. And I quite like the look of Moreno. I'm not sure why, but I just think he's got a bit about him.
He's a fullback who can't defend, so...
That's true, so he'd fit quite nicely in. And also, I'd take back Agent Colo, just because it's Colo, really.
That's what I've done on FIFA. I've bought the Colo in form.
Yeah, he doesn't have to play.
In the back.
I want the Boué back just for the dancing.
Always room for a Boué. Carl Walker's just put, I would take Sturridge. I wouldn't, just because he's a massive cunt.
That freaking jelly arms rubbish dance. No.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. I swear to God, if he did that in front of me, I would just kick him in the bollocks.
Credit to whatever the Arsenal fans. I don't know who they were, but I saw some in the stands taking the piss out of Sturridge when he came on. Doing his dance.
Doing his dance. Yeah, you're gonna love that. Danny, I want you to. We're on a bit of a time scale here, so we'll be out of here shortly. But I want you could you just make note of what couple of our guys, Raj was obviously involved in something at the game today. Would you just like to highlight that for the listeners? Because I'm sure that it won't get press coverage, so feel free to go through.
There was a protest today. I think the banner said £5 billion, and what do we get? £62 tickets.
Yes.
I'm just going to have a quick look through my phone and see if I can find the picture that Raj put up there, because looking from where the camera point of view was, or the camera angle was, it was down to the bottom right hand side, which I thought was they didn't show it. Here we go. Have I got auto rotate on? Yes, I have, because Mr. Hullenford gets the arse when I don't do it.
As do I.
Can we see?
Yes.
Oh, don't hold on. I need to click on me, don't I?
Yeah.
Well, the camera stays on. Yeah.
Now my fat fingers have pressed the bloody button again. There you go. So that was down in the corners. You can just about make out the corner flag. I don't know why it isn't focusing on it. Samsung are good phones if they want to sponsor us. Apart from the S6, which is going to be shit. Well, you can't see it, but that sign there says $5 billion, and what do we get? £64 a ticket, it was part of the BSM. It was Red Action. It was, who was the other one?
The Liverpool fans involved outside
Justice for Spirit of Shankly, I think it was.
Yeah. But the only Arsenal one that weren't involved were ISA AISA, Arsenal Independent
yeah.
Sports Association. I think they didn't want to join in with trying to make it what was a very, very well done, very peaceful protest, and making some very good points, because as usual, football is screwing the fans over. And in the UK, Sky Sports for this have now put up their charges by £4.50 a month.
Yes.
If you don't have Sky Sports, it's £2.50 a month. So even if you don't have Sky Sports, you're still getting fucked over by it. So I should be telling them to go fuck themselves, and I'll be paying for it online with one of those streaming sites.
I did see actually, Henry Winter did actually put something from his Twitter account. He was outside taking pictures and showing all the banners and protests outside the ground as well.
Good.
I'll go
Well, I
and
mean,
look for that.
it certainly should get coverage, and as you know, obviously we're all football supporters, and whether you're sort of in the UK or whether you're abroad or wherever you are, I mean, everybody wants a fair crack. And granted, the club can sell tickets for whatever price they want, and nobody's forced to go. But when it actually starts affecting people even being able to afford to even watch a game from home, I think you've really got issues. And what the FA have done with the Premier League. I'm so used to slagging off the FA. What the Premier League have done with the moving Arsenal games to a Monday night, granted, I appreciate
Friday night, you mean?
No, the
Mondays,
whole game on a Monday in Swansea.
2 games, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Two on a Monday.
They've moved them both to Monday for TV coverage.
Both in May, I think, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant from next
Bloody
season.
Burnley
It's like
away.
Friday
How are the
night.
fans supposed to get back?
Well, this is it, and granted, I understand. I think Amy Lawrence was saying on yesterday with Arse Blog that the Arsenal fans conducted themselves with absolute class when we had to go to Old Trafford for that midweek cup tie. And, they didn't moan; they just got on with it. And fair play to all of our fans that went. But the bottom line is, it's not fair. And people have got families, kids. They're trying to book a trip away to watch the team they love. They book everything. They get cheap train tickets, cheap hotel, and then to get told, sorry, the game is now a different day.
Or they move the trains and then you don't get a refund or anything.
Exactly.
I think Raj was saying that a mate of his is spending 160 quid on 2 tickets for a game, and he's having to take 2 days off of work to do it.
It's ridiculous.
But the people in charge need to realise that without us, there is no game. That's what I made a comment. I said what we should do for the first game of next season. It won't happen because most football fans are morons. But I said we should all boycott every single game in the Premier League and go and watch lower league football and do that. And after 2 or 3 games of that, they will realise we're in charge. We want tickets for £10 a go, and we want Sky Sports for £10 a month and stuff like that. Because the more money they get, the $5 billion, that's going to go to players and their agents who don't need the money.
Yeah.
So cut everything by 25%. Start from there. If they don't like it, fuck off and take up cricket.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a tough issue because, as I say, with ticket prices, granted, Arsenal are not the only club to have high ticket prices. It's the way that the economy goes. Well, and obviously you can always turn around and say, well, if you don't like it, don't pay for it. It's the same with replica shirts. The price is ridiculous, but if you really don't like it, don't go. But on the flip side of that, if every club made a stand, and if the FA and Sky Sports genuinely thought of the fans first, there would be no high ticket prices, because the clubs would go, you know what, we can't be greedy, we have to drop them, even if they
in charge. Without us, there is no game.
Exactly. Even if they offered cheap tickets for kids, it's a start. So
they'd rather have empty stadiums. Like my local team, Peterborough United. I went there a few years ago when we were top of the League One, and the tickets were about £14 a ticket. You now go 10 years later, it's £26 a ticket.
Plymouth Argyle's the same.
Half full stadium at £24 a ticket, then a full stadium at £12 a ticket. How the fuck does that make sense?
Exactly. Plymouth Argyle's exactly the same. I mean, I could go, I could go and watch Arsenal for only a slightly bit more than I would if I went to watch Argyle. Obviously the seats are not going to be as good, but the point still remains. It's affecting clubs at every level. But more on that, I'm sure, next week, because Raj is doing a pod with GA, isn't it, on Thursday?
He was just done a picture of the 5 billion thing, so I'm going to retweet that from my account and the podcast account. Cheers, Akib.
There we go. Is it Jeff and Raj together and Mark King, isn't it, on Thursday?
Yeah, and I think there might be someone from Red Action who said, as long as we don't make it another 2-hour bloody on and on.
Yeah, I'll cover that in a
2.5
sec.
hour we had.
Yeah,
and also we should mention that today the mighty Carolina Railhawks are playing the inaugural game of the 2015 NASL season, which is, I'm just looking down here because our very own Mr. Schrader has tweeted it. 6 p.m. UK time. It's on ESPN3 if anyone in the world wants to watch it, against the Ottawa Fury. And so the Carolina Railhawks are going to win that about 8-0, and then they're going to win the Champions League with it.
There you go. Said it. Heard it here first. But yes, the pod on Thursday will be quite heavily sort of geared towards the ticket schemes and the costs and various bits and bobs. So that will definitely be worth a listen. So please tune in for that. As Danny said, apologies. We did go a bit long on our pod this week.
It's Dom's fault.
Yeah, it's all Dom's fault. You know, it's
Oh,
all
it was
about
very
Dom.
good. Dom's stats were fantastic.
It was brilliant, yeah, it really was. If you can get through me and Jace having a bitch about the FA and get to Dom, it's well worth it. So, but by all means, you got permission to skip me. But no, in all seriousness, it was a really good debate, and we did cover a lot of ground with various different things. So we didn't think we'd have much to talk about, but we ended up going for 4 hours and recorded 2.5 of it. So it was good. But Danny, let's before we get out of here, and again, I apologise to people that we've not got to in the chat box. I'm on a schedule today, so I have to scoot off. So that's the reason we're a bit short today.
Chris has got a court appearance.
Yeah, sorry about that.
He's off the hill sick.
I got fish to feed to thousands. Danny, do you want to just give our latest Bergie blogs a little bit of a plug? There's a couple of new bits and bobs out this week, isn't there?
Jake Arsenal has got one. They're probably going to hate me for this, which is his latest one. And then you've got the usual Stick or Twist, which is from our very own Jeff Hoolan-Fuden, which every single week he does a very large blog, and then it leaves you a little section where you can click on.
Click on Stick or Twist.
That's it. That's what it is. And then it gives you a little readout of who's done what and whether people agree with you or not. And there's usually 2 or 3 parts to that. And then Les, Plastic Spam, has done a War and Peace style blog, which must have taken him hours and hours to do it.
Very good.
Is there a future in Arsenal's past? And if you've got half hour to spare and want to be educated, go and read that, because there's links, there's videos, there's photos, there's everything in there, and he has done a really fantastic job on there. And well done to Jeff for editing and putting all that up, because I used to say no photos, no pictures, no links, no nothing. I'm not even going to spell check it. Get on with it. So luckily Jeff does all that now.
Fair play to Jeff. He's a workhorse, that man, and a gentleman to match. John, do you have anything you'd like to mention? Anything you'd like to plug? Anybody you'd like to shout? Anything like that?
I do have 2 shout-outs who I'm frantically looking at on my phone now, trying to find, because I've been talking to them lately. They've been very nice. Luka, who I'm sure you all know.
Kolakusic. Yes.
Yeah, Luka Kolakusic, who is at dream_shake. Very nice. Go give him a follow. And Omar Hassan Khan as well. I've been talking to him. He is at Omar Del Khan 7. That's OMARDELKHAN 7. Both very nice. So go give them a follow. And nice gooners, always good fun to talk to.
Cool beans. Tim, anybody you'd like to have a shout to, mate?
Yeah, I'll just plug the 2 sites I blog for. One of them being one of the more recent people who's joined up with Gunnerstown, which is of course run by the very lovely Mr. Dave Seeger, and Paul, who's at Invinci blog. Yeah, they're both great gooners. It's a fantastic site. There's a lot of good stuff on there. The other site that I blog for is Premier Punditry. You can find it at Premier Punditry on Twitter. Theirs is more general Premier League stuff as opposed to Arsenal centric. So if you've got if you want to know stuff about other teams, like for upcoming games and that, it's a very good one to listen to, because you get guys from all 20 of the Premier League clubs coming in. They also do a once a month once a month championship podcast as well, which I believe they have a contributor from Reading, one from Fulham, and they've got Brentford is represented there as well. So it's very broad spectrum. Good listen. They put out 2 or 3 pods a week.
Excellent stuff. Excellent. I'll definitely check them out, because I have, and they are very enjoyable. And I know me and Danny are quite big fans of listening to other stuff as well as Arsenal stuff. So it does educate you week in, week out. 2 quick shouts from me. One is to our very own radio member Tom Canton. Tom was at the game today, and he's doing quite a lot of work on our Instagram account. Something I've only recently found with Instagram.
At it now. He's done more in 3 days than we've done in 2 years.
Yes, God bless him. I've only just discovered Instagram myself, so he's doing an excellent job. I believe to look us up, I think if you just put in a Bergkamp Wonderland, you'll find it, but I think it's _Bergkamp _Wonderland, isn't it? I think. Yeah. So if you don't already, give us a follow, because Tom is doing an excellent job. He does little graphics for all the shows we do, and he'll be posting up quite a lot of images from where he sat watching the game today, so that'll be worth a go. And if you've got any pictures from your own personal accounts that you'd like us to share on our Instagram, if you just tweet them to us, and we'll get Tom on the
Use
case.
the hashtag ABW Instagram. I think
Yes.
that's what Tom wanted us to do.
That's absolutely right. Good
Oh, yeah, it
knowledge,
is. It
Danny.
says it here, hashtag ABW Instagram.
There you go. So if you ABW
So
Instagram,
organised.
send it to our at the AFC podcast account, and we will.
Everything's organised other than the pod and the radio show.
Other than everything else, yeah. Put it together like an hour ago. And also, just to remind everybody, on Thursday's pod, I gave a shout out to our Pirates donation drive, which we're going to do in the next month or so to keep our club alive. This is where I beg and everyone has a go at me.
I've just had that picture clicked on me for the last 20 minutes, so people have seen me picking me arse or whatever.
No, that's fine.
Right, that's on you. So you can...
It's all good. It's all fine.
Sorry, people.
Just to prove, a few people are like, oh, I bet he hasn't got the shirts. Well, just to prove,
It's now clicked on you.
these beautiful shirts will be going to some lucky listeners. There's a Rosicki, there's a Mertesacker and a Koscielny. And just to prove they're authentic, they're match worn, you can see there's the rubber strips. You can also see, I don't know if you can see close up, but the Nike swoosh is printed on, it's not stitched on. These are not replicas, these are the real deal. So if you want to have a chance at winning those, it's basically we're going to do the same thing we did last year. We'll do a donation page, and anyone that is very kind enough to offer any small donation or large. I mean, I'm open to thousands. If anyone wants to give me thousands, I could easily be bought. But no, in all seriousness, any money that people can raise to us will go into the draw, and somebody will win those shirts. So good luck with that.
By the lovely Simon Shaft.
Absolutely. Shaky, yeah.
Him and James Elkin did a wonderful book that is on Amazon. It's $19.99. It's only hardback. It's called The Arsenal Shirt, the history of the iconic Gunners jersey, told through an extraordinary collection of match-worn shirts. Now, the thing I was surprised, because he sent me and Kris one, because he's a lovely bloke, and they are this big. They are absolutely huge, and they are rock solid, and they are magnificent books. 20 quid for that, including postage. I'd have thought it cost 20 quid to post it. So if you want to support these people, go and buy their book, and it's absolutely brilliant.
And I should say that for the winner will win one of the shirts. Two of the shirts. The runner-up will win one of the shirts, and the third place, when I say runner-up, I mean people drawn. The third person draw will actually win a copy of that book. So I've got one of those to give away as well. So there's lots of prizes to give away this year. So thank you for that, Danny. All that remains to be said really is that was a Burkout Wonderland Radio Live. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Kris. Thank you, Danny. John.
Cheers.
Pleasure.
And thank you, Mr. Button Monkey, as always.
I'm living long and prospering.
Oh, indeed. We shall be back. I say we. Danny will be back with you on Thursday for the ticketing special. So join us then.
In charge, so it's going to be straight to the point, get on with it, done.
Raj in charge. There's a hashtag for you.
Raj, laying it down.
As always, thank you to everyone that's contributed in the chat today. Much appreciated. Hold my hands up. Apologies we haven't got to everybody, but thank you as always. And we will see you in a week's time. Bye-bye. Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Bye.